Hello, and welcome to Recipes with Ben. With a chill in the air, it means it's time for soup season. And today I'm going to show you how to make a super easy, vegetarian-friendly soup using some seasonal vegetables. So to start, I'm going to add oil to a large pan and increase the heat to medium. And then I'm going to add 1 diced yellow onion and 3 medium carrots. I'm going to cook them over medium heat until the onions start to become translucent, which can take about 5 minutes. Then it's time to add 4 cloves of diced garlic and saute the garlic with the veggies for about 30 seconds until the garlic starts to become fragrant. With the rawness starting to cook out of the onions and garlic and the carrots beginning to become soft, it's time to add 2 cups of veggie stock. If you have homemade veggie stock, I'm sure that would elevate the flavor of the soup even more, but I'm just going to use some store-bought that I had on hand. With the liquid added in, it's time for some seasoning, which includes salt, a couple dashes of chili powder for some heat, some ground cumin, and some black pepper. The amounts can be adjusted to taste, but with all spices and things like soup, it's easier to add less in the beginning and adjust towards the end. Then I'm going to add some dried herbs. That includes oregano, thyme, and rosemary. And this is a blend of herbs that I've dried from our garden. So there's an exact ratio, but I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of dried and follow that up with 1 tablespoon of fresh herbs of the same variety. After adding the herbs, it's time to add 1 ear of corn. That I removed all the corn from the cob. And if you're frozen, that could also work for the soup. And now it's time for one last veggie, which in this specific case is 16 ounces of squash that I roasted ahead of time and turned into a puree. But I've tried this exact same recipe with homemade pumpkin puree, which also makes the soup great. If you want to see how to make pumpkin puree from scratch from a whole pumpkin, check out my pumpkin pie video, which I'll link down in the description, where I go into this process in more detail. After mixing all the soup up, it's time to cover it and let it simmer for 15 minutes. And after that time, it's time to balance the spiciness of the chili powder with a little bit of sweetness. So in this case, I'm going to add a little bit of maple syrup to increase that overall sweetness of the veggies. To make this more uniform in consistency, I'm also going to use my immersion blender and blend that until it's nice and thick. To help thin out the soup and give it a little bit creamier flavor, I'm going to add a half a cup of oat milk at this time and give that a final mix. Like I said earlier, now is the time to adjust the seasoning to your taste. So for me, after tasting it, it needed a little bit more chili powder to increase that heat, some black pepper, some salt, and a little bit of garlic powder. And I just covered up the soup and let those flavors get to know each other for an initial 5 minutes. And with all that, it was ready to eat. I like to say that this soup pairs great with fresh bread. So I'll leave my beer bread recipe down in the description if you want to make your own bread. So with all that said, there you have a fall harvest soup that will be sure to be part of the Clean Bowl Club. Thank you so much for watching. Smash that like button for soup season and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video. I'll see you again soon.